I'm going to take that again.
No, he's not. Because you don't know what day you asked me out.
Fun fact: Chinjo and I actually started dating on the 13th of February, 2015.
Yes.
Right. So.
Yes. Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Chinju and I'm here with my husband.
My name is Obinna.
Great. So thank you guys so much for all the engagement, for watching our videos, and for sharing. We're back with another episode today, another topic today. And it's really timely because we're actually filming this on Valentine's Day. Woo! Valentine's Day! So Valentine's Day means different things to different people. And to us, honestly, we didn't do anything like super special or like different today. We try to show each other love every day. Doesn't mean that I don't like getting Valentine's Day presents. Doesn't mean that Obina doesn't like getting Valentine's Day presents either. It's just like a lot's happening right now. So we've decided to celebrate tomorrow instead. But regardless, this has been a really interesting weekend. A lot of people, okay, not a lot, like a couple of people, 3 or so people that we know have gotten like engaged or met the parents, like prepping for marriage in the past week. So congratulations, guys. If you're watching this, you know who you are. And yeah, it's a really interesting journey ahead of you guys. We've been married 2 years now, so I feel like at this point we have still little amounts of experience compared to obviously people who've been married for 35 years, but we have enough experience that we can share some of the things that we wish we knew before getting married. So that's exactly what this video is for, and we're going to try and keep it like snappy and impactful so we're not rambling. But yeah, we hope this video is useful to you and that you learned some things. If there is anything that you felt like might have been obvious that we left out, please leave a comment below. Yeah, let's have a discussion in the comment section below. Anything, babe?
Yeah, and like you said, we haven't been married for 35, 40 years. But then sometimes that initial, the first 2 to 5 years, are can have breaking points, right?
Yeah.
So if there's stuff that
What is it that they say? Is it if you make it past the first 2 years, or if the first 3 years, then you can
then you can figure it out.
Yeah.
So sometimes you don't need to wait for 30 years, right? To start sharing information or sharing knowledge, wisdom, whatever it might be. Always feel free to share. Right?
Yeah.
In the beginning.
I'm just looking at my phone because I actually took notes, and I took notes like a couple of weeks back, so I was just reading them again to make sure that they actually make sense. Yeah. Yes.
And just fun fact, Chinjo and I actually started dating on 13th of
February. What year?
Right. What do you mean?
What year?
2012.
This guy said, what do you mean? Oh my God, what's wrong with this man?
2013. Always.
Hey!
Oh no, sorry. 2015.
Hey.
Oops.
He brought me roses. I live by a flower shop, and this guy would always visit and never buy me flowers. So this one time, he bought me flowers, and I was like, oh, it must be serious. Anyway,
So yeah. So let's get into the video.
Let's start. Do you want to start? Or should I start?
I think you have what? 3 points?
I actually have 5 points. Some of them are like really short. Some of them I'm not sure what I was thinking when I wrote it.
Okay.
So we can just see how it goes.
Alright, so you can start. You have more than I do. I only have 2 points.
Okay, so the first thing that I wish that I knew before getting married, and not trying to be cliche here. In fact, I don't think I had heard about this anywhere until I started doing some research into like behavioral science, how to deal with like other people. So it's mirroring, right? So with mirroring, the way that I understand and the way that I've seen it in our relationship is basically when you're living with someone, when you spend so much time with someone, obviously they have their positives and their negatives. You don't really know subconsciously that person's, whether it's pros or cons. It rubs off on you, but sometimes it's not. It doesn't just rub off on you and then you are the same. Sometimes you start to become some of those things that you see in that person, whether it's good or it's bad. So that's something that I wish that I would have been a little bit more conscious about, like at the beginning. And I'll just give a quick example and then we can move to the next one. So for example, with our communication styles, okay, especially when there's friction, Obina and I have completely different communication styles. I would say, and Obina can say quickly if he agrees or not, that my communication style when there's friction is more peaceful. It's the style that would lead to peace in the long run, right? As opposed to not dealing with the situation at all.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's naturally my style. Obina is opposite. So over time, I started to mirror his style instead of sticking to my style. And I wasn't really doing it on purpose, but then that's just kind of what started happening. So now I'm actually reversing back to my natural ways because for both of us, that's what works best. And that's actually just what works best for our family and for our home. So yes, that's one thing, mirroring. So basically be conscious of not just your cons, but your pros as well. Be conscious of your partners and basically find ways to live with it, but also try to, I don't know, like change in ways that are best for both of you.
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I think it's if I were to, how do I put it? I agree. I agree, and I definitely see how that has played out in our relationship, in our marriage, to the point where after you mirror, you even supersede. You
now pass the person,
things, right? So, I agree, and really interesting.
Okay.
Nice one. Okay. Then let's see. My point is, love is not enough. Okay. I think there are other things. You may love someone and you say, "Oh my gosh, I love this person. I'm going to marry this person." But there's so much more to what makes a good, fruitful, happy marriage, right? So love is important, but you need respect. You need to be able to forgive. You need consideration. Very, very, very
Ovina's
important.
favorite word.
That's my favorite word.
Consideration.
And you need consistency, right? So whatever it is that is expected of you, you need to be consistent. It's because you see it all the time, right? The cliche, Hollywood tells you, "Oh, love at first sight, we fell in love." But if you don't have these other things, then your marriage may start off on a rocky ground, and that's never good. So I would definitely say that you should be in love. But for me, more importantly, are the other things that I mentioned: forgiveness, respect, consistency, and consideration. Very, very important to me.
Yeah, I agree. And basically, if you're going to put numbers to it, right, what's the difference between how you ranked love in terms of importance for marriage and how you rank it now, 2 years going on 3 into being married? Because I'm assuming that like the initial decision, okay, engagement, euphoria, or whatever, was mostly based on that feeling of love that no one can really describe.
Right.
But you just felt like, oh my God, I love this person.
Yeah, so I think if I were to put love at that point at like an 8.5,
yeah.
Right now I'll put it at a 7.5. Right.
Okay, mine would actually be lower.
No, I won't put it that much lower because I know and I feel that love is still very, very, very important, right? But by bringing it down a notch a little, I'm just kind of creating more room for the other things, right?
It.
So
okay,
it's just kind of how I feel.
All right, fair enough. So the next thing that I wish that I knew before we got married is it kind of ties into Obina's point about love not being enough, but it's not specifically that. So it's basically about being intentional. You hear this a lot with relationships in general. Be intentional about how you want your marriage to be and what are the things that are going to allow you to have that type of marriage and relationship that you want. Okay? So I know that with us, we were super intentional from the beginning in terms of this is what we want to be, right? We want to be with each other. We want to start dating now, and we're planning towards marriage. That's our goal. So the intent for that was very clear. Now, what we didn't spend as much time on or as much consideration on, in my opinion, was what are those components that are going to allow us, once we're now in the marriage or in the relationship, to live peacefully and have a long-lasting and fruitful relationship. So things like, so recently we had a chat about this, and it boils down to basically spiritual, emotional, sexual, and what was the mental?
Mental, yeah.
Mental. So we broke it down to those four areas where we need to be intentional on a consistent basis. So you don't go without praying with each other for like more than a couple of days. You obviously don't go without being like touchy or like sexual with each other for like an extended period of time. Mentally, you should be in the same place. And was it? I don't remember what the other one was now.
Well, maybe emotional.
Emotionally as well. So you wanna be connecting on those four levels. I want to be connecting on those four levels frequently.
Yeah, regularly.
So by being intentional with that, it actually makes sure that you're in sync, right? And then there's less opportunity for friction, there's less opportunity for disrespect, inconsideration, all of the other things that love won't give you in your relationship.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow, I sound like a counselor. Check me out.
No, that was really good. I don't think I have anything to add to that.
Yeah.
So I'll go to my...
Okay, I mean, let me give Obina some credit though. He was the one who like laid out those four areas when we had our chat, like whenever a couple weeks ago. But yes, it makes a lot of sense to break it down like that.
Yeah.
In general.
And just because in any relationship there's obviously going to be quarrel, and so I'm not saying this as though this is just like the most important thing, because I think Chinja had mentioned something about fighting already. My second point is that fighting and arguing is okay. Right? It's okay to fight. It's okay to argue.
Yeah, but
Just
you knew
be
that
fair.
before we married.
No. So that's the first part,
Okay.
right? So as I said, so in continuation of my statement, just be fair, right? As you do that, do it with love, right? So do it in a way that you don't, leave like a huge dent that can be brought, taken out, or a huge scar, right? When you fight, you're emotional, right? And always have at the back of your mind who you're fighting, who you're arguing with. Your point is, or you're fighting or arguing most times to make a point. And at that emotionally heightened state that you're in, there are many times that you can do things or say things that are irreparable, that you can't take back.
Yeah.
So, in the beginning, before we got married, I knew that we would argue. I knew that there would be conflict.
Yeah.
But I never thought to myself, when there is conflict, you need to do it this way for this reason.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that is for me just really, really important. It's like a golden rule. You should argue, because conflict typically brings about
Greater
a better
understanding
and brings about positive results at the other side. If you do it well, if you do it fairly, if you do it with love at
in
the
a
back
way
of
that
your
isn't
mind.
like damaging. You're
Yeah.
allowed to disagree without being like specifically and particularly hurtful to each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my my second and last my second and last point. Those are the two things that are most important to me,
Fair
or
enough.
that are top of my list.
Yeah, top of mind as well.
So I'm sure there are many other things, but
Yeah. So funny enough, I wrote 5 different things, and 4 is how to fight with love. So basically, I also wish that before we got married, I had learned specifically how to fight with love. Now, we're making this video looking back in hindsight, right? But before I got married, I would have never thought that um, because I already feel like I love this person so much and I'm excited about the journey ahead, I wouldn't be thinking about conflicts. I wouldn't be thinking that there are things in myself that I need to improve to make our lives better.
Yeah.
So I wish that before we got married, I had done more research on like how to fight fairly, how to fight with love, things like just remembering that this is your partner for life. Like you're not really competing with, in fact, you're not competing with each other at all. Like you should move and operate as a team. You guys are one at this point. So that would have actually saved us a lot of headache, I believe, if it's something that both of us had learned before we got married.
Yeah.
Regardless, we're in it now. We're learning as we go along. But yes, I think this is really important to learn this and then practicalize it when you're married. Okay, so let me see if I have a different other point and we can close out with that. This will be my last point, is making decisions together, right? So for someone like, I think this is important for me because I've just grown up like really independent for a very long time. Same with Obinna. So in terms of like making decisions, it's good to always remember that there's somebody on the other side. It might be small things, right? And you don't even think that the person cares about it, but it's important to carry people along, right?
Yeah.
Carry people along with decisions that you're making. If it's booking a flight or if it's planning like a family visit or what are we having for lunch type of things. Like just small things, but basically don't discount the fact that somebody else might have an opinion about what you're doing.
Yeah. Be considerate.
Be considerate. Be considerate is basically how I'm going to summarize everything that I'm trying to explain.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah. So I think those things are pretty important. It's different when you're in your relationships with your friends, I would say. So with a spouse, when you're married, I think it's really important to learn how to do those things and learn how to make it a part of your life so you can live peacefully and happily and forever and ever and ever and ever.
My closing statement essentially, basically, in summary for me, different couples are different. Every individual is unique and has different needs and different personality traits.
Yeah.
So I would certainly make sure that in going into marriage you understand each other.
Yeah.
Do like a personality trait test. There are many free really good ones online.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, we can link a really good one down in the
and
in
it's
the
not
caption.
an ad, it's not an affiliate link, we're not getting anything for it,
we're
but
not getting
we
anything
found
from
it
it, but
useful.
we found it very useful. We've used it and we recommend it to couples that are getting married or already married,
and doing pre-intro,
and those are doing pre-intro, however far you've gone in your relationship.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to contribute to this video. Do you have anything else?
Nope, that's it for me as well.
All right, awesome. So thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button. Like our channel, it really helps us. And make sure that you share this video with your friends, those that are single, those that are about to get married, and even those that are married. So basically share it to everybody.
Yeah.
All right, would appreciate that a great deal. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.